Yes, you're the only one.
So nice to see everybody. Kelly, I'll put $5 in for your truck.
No.
1 second, Angie.
We can't hear you. Okay, try it again.
I said, nice to see everybody today. Sorry I can't be there, but I'm going to put $5 in for Kelly's new truck. I can't wait to see it.
We're going to wrap it.
All yours, Jeff.
President, are we ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. I am very pleased today to have the honor and the privilege of introducing Deb Corbett. Now,
Hi. Increase your volume. Use your big boy voice, Jim.
ladies and gentlemen, it's been a privilege to know Deb for many years, and you've got a real true head. Jenny very nicely published her bio on page 3 of the Worthiness. And Deb, I'm happy to report that all of our members were tested on. And most of them scored well into the 90s. So they are obviously reading this.
All right.
Now, rather than be redundant, I thought I would just take a little license and say just a word about what the governor does. And some of the both opportunities and perhaps even some challenges that he or she has to make. And I'm reflecting on the time when I was governor, which was back in 1896-97. Good years. Of course, I was only 12 at the time. Let me just say a couple of brief words about what the governor does. She is the only authorized, elected, and official spokesman for Rotary International in District 76. You've heard the phrase, the buck stops there, it stops there. In any decision or action that affects Rotary International, our clubs, or the body of Rotary, the governor has the final and full authority, subject, of course, to the Rotary Constitution and bylaws, and to the district bylaws. And by the way, Deb has to study and be very well versed on all of these things.
Please silence your cell phones.
If that's for me, I'm not here. She has to be well versed on all of this, and I'll say a little bit more about that. Our governors have to be very accomplished event planners all across the district. There are just so many Rotary skills building and events, leadership training events, some very high profile district-wide events like the district conference and the foundation banquet. And frankly, hundreds of district Rotarians attend these events. And they both strengthen our clubs and those who are benefiting from them. Our governors, like today, visit every single club. They meet with the board. They have to be prepared for that. Reviewing progress and sharing some great ideas that they have learned along the way. Governors frequently visit and interact directly in club projects. In other words, you may see her again. High-profile events such as the awarding of Paul Harris Fellows and other foundation activities. The mileage on your car will increase this year. Our governors give of themselves greatly and also of their time. The minimum time commitment is a 4-year operation, and it really does end. And that's not a bad dream kind of it doesn't end. But when they have got all these wonderful skills after 4 years, 2 years in preparation, 1 year as governor, 1 year as the immediate past governor, they have become pretty well educated on Rotary. And so we continue to use them throughout the district on committees and in quite a number of other leadership roles. And I can absolutely assure you that Governor Debb and Governor-elect Kevin are very busy, and they're very deeply involved individuals. And by the way, our governors don't have office hours. They're on call for whatever happens, be it great news or some other news as we had happened, as has happened across the district from time to time. Now, upon reading about her and also watching her leadership grow and strengthen over many years, you simply can't miss the facts that she truly walks the walk, doesn't just talk the talk. She lives a highly exemplary and is a highly exemplary example of what it means to be a Rotarian. One actively involved, personally committed to the success of Rotary across a wide and large district, from Charlotte north to the Virginia state line, from Charlotte west to Shelby, Kings Mountain, from east to Rockingham, Wadesboro, Hamlet. Yes, your miles will increase. And she's also on call. You know, because there really isn't a day off. I guess that's the best way to say it. Kevin, I'm sorry that we talked about this years ago, but I didn't want to tell you that.
He doesn't even day off anyway.
I don't think Kevin ever slows down. He and Deb are both the little energizer bunnies, this kind of thing. Amazing. Deb's background is highly commendable and has prepared her quite well for what she is doing and continues to do so well. We are extremely fortunate to have her with us today. It is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce to you formally to one who is really no stranger, our District Governor, Debb Corbett. Now, please join me in giving her a rising and warm welcome.
Wow, thank you, Jim. Who wants to sign up and apply for this job next? So I feel like I'm at home when I'm with this group because you remind me a lot of my home club and a lot of laughter, a lot of joking, a lot of fun, a lot of energy. And filling this room with your presence and friendship. Thank you very much, and thank you for the warm welcome. So, create hope in the world. Rotary International President Gordon McAnally told us many stories of how he came about to use the phrase create hope in the world as a challenge to us, as a focus to us, as a way to inspire us to share Rotary with the world. We had the honor and privilege of meeting him several times at International Assembly in Orlando. And my husband, who is an airline pilot, doesn't get to go to many Rotary functions with me. So when he got to experience International Assembly, he was blown away. Everything that Rotary does, and if I heard it once, I heard it a dozen times. I didn't know they did that. I didn't know they did that. I didn't know. Wow, and I feel like we can say that for year after year after year after year in Rotary. There's so much that we accomplish worldwide. And we tell our stories. We're learning to tell our stories a little better now to get that word out. So people will want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. So a few stories about me. I am the youngest of 4 siblings. And I have a sister who lives in Gaston County in a group home. And then those are my 2 older brothers. I love to say howdy. And Daryl kind of, teed that up for me earlier. So let's practice that. Howdy.
Howdy.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, sign y'all up for the best howdy. So howdy is the official greeting at my university, Texas A&M University, where I graduated. And it is the official greeting because it's a word that says you belong, your family, and I've got your back. It's not just a hi, it's not a wave, it's not a good evening, it's howdy. And you walk across the campus and everywhere you go, people howdy, 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 howdy. You hear it a million times a day, and it's a great feeling. And so when I think of Rotary and our Rotary family, I want us to think of that in the same way. It's a howdy sort of group. So thank you for that resounding howdy. I did marry the love of my life, and we were high school sweethearts. And we spent many years in the Navy as he traveled. Those are the two fur babies that helped me stay grounded and calm, stress relief, all the above. And this is my lovely family that I truly miss my boys. And I love that they spent 20 years with me in Rotary, doing Rotary work along the way. Interact clubs, climbing when I was practicing for Kilimanjaro, lots of service projects. Going through the pictures, it was amazing to see how they've been a part of Rotary and the journey that I've been on with my family. So, howdy is also my license plate. How did you get into Rotary? And it's because of this lovely lady right here. We sang in church together, and I'd known her for a couple of years. So when she came up to me one day, she knew I was a therapist, and she said, "We're having a speaker on domestic violence. Would you like to come and hear the presentation?" So certainly that sounds interesting. I'd love to come with you. Where are we going? She goes, "It's my Rotary meeting," and she went to explain it. I know Rotary. I'm a second generation Rotarian. We had a whole new area to talk about, but we had never spoken it the 2 years that we'd known each other. So I tell you that story for two reasons. One, your presentation speakers is an invitation for someone to come and visit, to hear a good speaker. And when you know someone that might connect to the presentation speaker, specifically reach out to them. Secondly, share your stories. Let Rotary be part of your everyday conversation. You never know what connection you may have with that. This is about 8th grade for me whenever I was working with Special Olympics. My sister's Down syndrome, and from the very beginning, we were always doing things and helping with special needs. So, okay. There we go. Third time's a charm. This is the first club I started with, Union West, and that's where I was president. And this is my club today. That's at my installation that several of you were part of that day. It was a lot of fun. And we are family. We are all family. So, yeah. Okay, so baseball is something I definitely love. We're working with the Diamond this time. And it starts with you guys. It starts with all of us. It starts with our members. Our members are the heartbeat of Rotary. And Rotary International President Gordon is bringing a message this year that's slightly different than perhaps messages in the past. He wants us to focus on our members in our clubs and really take care of them. We have had the opportunity to see the world pause for a couple years through our pandemic, and we have seen great loss and trauma through that. And we are seeing even our own relationships severed because of things that we've been through. And President Gordon wants us to truly focus on our members, truly focus on checking in with them. How are you? No, how are you really? That's not just a fine answer. Create time in your meetings where you're having a meaningful discussion. Maybe it's a question of the day. You know, have your mental health project where you can bring the project into the presentation into your club. Create strategies where you can formalize caring, where you know that no one is left out. How are you caring for your members? And with that, I'd like to present Daryl with a gift for this year. This is for your club. This is a charcuterie board. What do we do with this?
We eat off of it.
We eat off of it. We might even have a little liquid to go with it, right?
We do not get our friends with it.
It is not a bottle like someone may have suggested. And I want you to break bread with your members. I want you to find someone that really has shined it to you in helping and reaching out to other members in your club. Have a one-on-one with them. Present this to them, and then let that continue to pass around in your club. Share that care and comfort, and for that, I'm going to present this to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Everyone Everyone say charcuterie.
With cheese.
Who's gonna go to next?
Exactly, yes. So, from the district level, we have lots of different ways to support you in your membership efforts. We've mentioned the membership summit, and I know that you will have at least 3 members, hopefully 5 members from this club attending in this room next Saturday on the 23rd. So why is that important? This is a very, very different workshop. This is a dialogue-driven workshop where we are going to be talking and discussing ideas that are guided through the facilitation. And you may think, I'm not the membership chair, membership's not my gig, but you have something to offer. You have a perspective and you have information that you can share. And so consider coming and joining us. It will be lots of fun. We'll have some snacks and good stuff and we'll learn some stuff. So things that support our membership efforts from the district level. We have RLI, Rotary Leadership Institute. And Rotary Leadership Institute is a way to learn more about Rotary and grow into Rotary leadership. We also have, for new members, Know Rotary, which is Rotary 101. And you can go online, it's a Zoom session for new members to learn something beyond your club. You're gonna learn about the district, and you're gonna learn a little bit about Rotary International as well. So you may have joined because this is a really great group of people, but now you're gonna learn what you've stepped into. And they're gonna start to layer that learning even more with everything that is amazing about Rotary. And finally, we also have vocational service led by Chris Howard in the Waxhaw Weddington Club, who will be coming back as the vocational chair for our district and reintroducing us to the idea of networking through Rotary. You know, we trust our friends in Rotary, so we wanna do business with our friends in Rotary as well. And so in order to do that, we gotta learn what people do. Paul Harris started Rotary, 1905, 4 people, as a person who wanted to get to know others. It said he was maybe lonely, he was new to the Chicago area. So why not fellowship with people and learn something about their business? You know, he was using his time wisely, efficiency, from the very beginning. It was a couple years later when they started the service project with, does anybody know what the first service project was? Kevin, you're not allowed to answer. Anyone know the first service project?
Public bathroom.
Who said that? Public bathroom. Yeah, Colin. You get a stress ball. Catch. It's not gonna break Cover the nose. So the stress ball is just a little bit of swag that I'm passing out this year. To remember that mental health is a focus for the year Create Hope in the World. And it's a heart. I believe in leading with heart. It's baseball because I love baseball. And it says Rotary 7680, our district on it. So thank you for that answer. Yes, the public restroom was the first service project. And then, you know, legend says that maybe they needed to go to the bathroom when they were going from one office to the next. I don't know. That could just, you know, add to the color of the story. And then we also have socials, district-wide socials. We have a Rotarian in our district who is a producer, Laura Little. She's an award-winning producer, helped produce Come From Away, that some of you may have seen. So this is a show that's coming to Charlotte for the first time this year. There's a special Rotary Day with special Rotary shout-outs on Saturday, December 9th. So if you want to get a group together, there is a very special Rotary prize, which I believe is the lowest price offered. And it's only offered with that code right there when you call and get your tickets. Rotary 7680.
Will this be in the DeOrlean?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So one last thing I wanted to mention on members is that these are my words for the year: dare, care, and share. And with members, we are caring about them just as Rotary President Gordon wants us to do. Care about your members. Just extend that care and comfort to those around us. And then with our service, I want you to be daring. So what does it mean to be daring? What does it mean to have courage? I hear from you guys.
Do something out of your comfort zone.
Do something out of your comfort zone, yes.
Go against the grain.
Go against the grain. Anything else? When you be encouraged, yes.
Admit when you've been wrong, which I was this morning because I didn't have a dollar bill in my pocket. I've been sitting here listening this club is funded the first woman District 7680 came from our club.
Oh, wow.
And from that day to this, I have been so grateful. And the Rotary finally had the good sense to open up. And so, David, if you got room in that.
Yes.
Really bad.
Excellent. So daring is about admitting when you're wrong, stepping into uncertainty, risking something. And when we do those things, emotional risk, uncertainty, we are stepping into the unknown. It might be suggesting a new idea and not knowing how it's going to come about. Putting it out there. It might be starting a new committee and not knowing how it's going to manifest. But you're going to take the next step forward. When we dare with our projects, you can come up with amazing ideas. Daring, be daring with it. When you're daring with how you share Rotary, you may have a whole new avenue of how to bring members in. Be willing to be daring. Set a time aside, be intentional with it. To dare and to brainstorm and not worry about what other people think. So I think you guys do this exceptionally well. You're probably the model for our district. Rotarians at work and Rotarians having fun. You know, we do work hard, play hard, right? And you have so many opportunities to do that. And that is the energy we want others to see so that they will come and join us and come and work alongside of us and be part of something bigger than themselves. I'm proud to be a Rotarian. Who else in this room is proud to be a Rotarian?
Right.
Absolutely, yes. So we have a weekend coming up on our birthday. That's the Go Rotary weekend. And we want everyone to flood the websites and our social media with Go Rotary and show our community in our 14 counties what it looks like when 2,200 Rotarians come together and do service and make an impact in the community. Imagine just for a second, if we didn't have Rotary. How many projects would be undone? How many people would not be served? How many relationships would not be formed? We're gonna go Rotary and we're gonna show people how exciting it is to be a part of our district. We have district projects that will supplement your projects that you're doing in your club. This is one for this year, it's Create Hope with Art. We're reaching out specifically to the arts students and we are asking them to demonstrate what art looks like, what hope looks like through their art. This is a way to tap into mental health. We all know that a little doodling is good for our anxiety level. And I'm guessing there's gonna be some pretty magnificent doodling going on when they create this art. So again, we are putting this out to 14 counties. It has gone out through our curriculum specialists in the counties. And now everyone is seeing Rotary. We are inviting the finalists to our foundation banquet along with their parents, and hopefully 60 people that have maybe never seen Rotary before will get a glimpse of what Rotary does in the Rotary Foundation. So that's one project that you can share along with your others that people can take advantage of. Another one is our SFTL, may or may not come up. There's, okay. And that's our signature project that's been going on for years. SFTL is a product of RILA, Rotary Leadership Awards. And RILA's been around for many, many years. Rotary International started the RILA program years ago. This is our rendition of it that started in 2009. SFTL started in 2009. This young man in the bottom left corner here, a wonderful young man. When he came to SFTL, he was very shy, very timid, and just kind of observed, looked around. And after the 3-4 days of exercises and leadership challenges and getting to know others and working with his mentor group, on the last day, we start to take the focus forward and how they're going to take their learning forward. And there's a time where they talk about their new definition of leadership. Well, after several other students had spoken, he stood up. He stood up, but he didn't move forward yet. And then he started to walk forward, and he was absolutely trembling. When he grabbed the mic, he could hardly hold it without it almost falling out of his hands. And he stood there frozen, not saying a word. His mentor group members came up, all of them, came up and put their arms around him. An incredible moment. The tears were running down his face. He felt so supported and so included. And he began to talk about what that weekend means to him and how his leadership grew and his new definition of leadership. He was very shaky with his voice, and you could feel the impact and the emotion in the entire room. So that was such a powerful moment for me to see that happen. He said he had never been to an experience before, because as you can see, he has a learning device in his head, and it was always a complication. It was not a complication at all. He really, really shined throughout the weekend. Well, when I gave my official visit at the club, which sponsored him, he was there. And guess what? His dad joined Rotary.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, and he brought his siblings. Youngest one wasn't so impressed with my presentation. Oh, well. And when he saw this slide, he's like, that's me. He spoke about his experience, and this young man stood up and articulated beautifully about his experience. And he was not shy, his voice wasn't shaking. He stood there and commanded the room with presence. That was very, very, very strong. And so I'm just so proud of him and what he's doing. And that's one example, many, many other stories. This program is my heart. I love this program, and I love the impact and the transformation it makes in lives. We have no idea what that springboard looks like for students as they go beyond this. We just know that we have been a part of seeding those values of service and leadership along the way. So these are other committees that support our projects. We have the DEI committee, who they have the opportunity to come in and show you how to expand your membership, your projects with a DEI lens. How can you be more inclusive? How can you make your projects equitable? And use them, they're a resource. The Peace Committee is a well-established committee as well that is helping us connect positive peace to our projects. And if you reach out to them, they will also help connect those dots. And a newly formed committee this year, Romy is heading up, is our Mental Health Committee, and it's brand new. This is one of those daring spaces where it's like, whoa, what are we doing? You know, we just got the Mental Health Initiative from Gordon, how do we do this? And so we are collecting names, we're seeing who wants to be a part of this, to come together and hopefully form a committee that will become longstanding, just like our Peace Committee. Because mental health is not going away. I am so grateful that President Gordon made this an initiative. So I want you to think back when I started the presentation, I showed you a picture of my 4 siblings. My oldest brother died by suicide. He took his life when I was 15 years old. It changed my life forever. My father told me I had to go to counseling. I remember the teenage one here. What do you mean? I'm not crazy. Isn't that the stigma that we had back then? You know,
Yeah.
that perhaps we might even have still. That was such a rich experience that transformed my life so much that I wanted to go into the field. A few years later, 2 months after I got married, my other brother passed away from AIDS. And that was something you didn't talk about. That was the 80s and the 90s. I came from a small suburb in Texas. We didn't talk about it. So mental health is very near and dear to my heart. And we've come a long way in beginning to destigmatize it. We have got marathons and marathons and marathons to go. We can be a part of that by opening the conversation and looking people in the eye and saying, how are you feeling? And having conversations, those real meaningful conversations. It's gonna be around for a long time. We're gonna build this into a wonderful, rich resource for our communities.
Hey Deb,
Yes.
do you feel that there was a higher power moving you to be the governor in this particular year. I mean, it's just an interesting, it's never been a focus before, and now to have a therapist as our district governor. I mean, it's it's just like a perfect kind of
Yep.
aligning.
I honestly believe that this was the year I was meant to be governor. Absolutely. And if I would have been orchestrating it, it probably would have looked differently, but this is the year I was meant to be governor. So, and I love his message because as a therapist, I want to know how you're feeling about stuff. I hope you're feeling good. And when Gordon mentioned that, we're going to take a step back and we're going to reset with members. We want to make sure that people are having a positive experience with Rotary and that this is adding to their lives. And what are we doing in that space if people are leaving? Is there something we can do? Can we affect change? Can we affect their lives? Can we reach out and connect better? What can we do differently? Or what can we do better? So I love that he's focusing on that quality because that's just right up my alley. Don't give me numbers. The Rotary Foundation is our foundation. It's the fuel that allows us to give and to make projects come to life. These projects are around the world and they're locally. I love that you guys also have your local deal with charities, and that helps to make more projects come alive here. But when we give and we recognize in increments of $1,000. When I was in Evanston, I got to meet Paul Harris. He wasn't quite as warm as I thought he would be.
A little stiff.
Y'all are so good. You laughed at it. Thank you. But he did extend his hand. Yeah, and friendship.
Do people not laugh sometimes?
Huh?
Do people not laugh sometimes?
I have to prompt him a little. So they're like, okay, so he's not very warm. Come on, it's a statue. He's cold and stiff, right?
It's a whole higher level of
But he always has his hand out. That's right. And I want to pause here for a minute and invite Eric and Kelly up here to join me. Come on, y'all, two, get up here.
Look, the longer you take to get up here,
Yes.
the longer I have to wait to
Okay,
eat lunch.
okay.
So, this one is Eric. And Kelly. Your club is presenting you with Paul Harris Fellows in recognition of your service and how much you dedicate to the club. And thank you for your patience.
See, we're patient too.
Yeah. So, yes, when we give $1,000, it's a Paul Harris Fellow. And we can continue to give those and we can become different levels of donors. And what that really means is that we are making it possible for other projects to be done and that more good is being done in the world because the dollars that we seed our foundation that is invested and it comes back to our district and globally. And so in recognition of your service, your club is presenting you each with a Paul Harris Fellow in the next level. So Kelly, yours.
Kidding me?
I will.
The left earlobe.
They saw that navy uniform when I got married. No, I was told you're supposed to slam the.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
And I did slam.
Sorry, that's right.
I did slam my husband's wings in. He reminds me to this day that I did that and left blood marks on his white uniform.
That's the way to do it.
And he's like, yeah.
They did it to me many times.
Look at him, he's still smiling too.
And I'll do it to you when you're 105.
Thank you.
Eric, thank you. So, you all recognize how important it is to give to our foundation, and we will be celebrating all that our district does on November 18th at the Great Wolf Lodge, and our speaker will be Rotary International Director Drew Kessler. And so I'm looking forward to a fabulous night of celebrating our different projects and celebrating with many guests in the room. So we want to fill it with lots of Rotarians and lots of energy and lots of wonderful fellowship and grow Rotary, continue to give to the foundation, ultimately to make a better and bigger impact in the world. Our 7 areas of focus, what's the last one that we just added to the 7 areas of focus? Okay, who said it? I think I heard it, Margie. Paula, I heard that voice. Give her, she gets a.
Environment. Oh.
We won't throw it as she covers her nose.
I was not gonna throw that.
We also have our In Polio Now, which is our signature Rotary International effort that we started in 1985. What other organization can say they eradicated a disease from the face of the earth so that not a single child ever has to suffer from the symptoms of polio? We are 99.9999999 there. However, I'll relate it to a story that we, from an activity that we do in SFTL. These kids are lined up and they're trying to get across this hot lava river, and they have their safe stones and they're trying to get to the bank. That's a rope over there. And they are just working. They are doing it. They are in sync. They're going across, and all of a sudden, right when someone's about to get over there, somebody just messes up. They lose their focus, and then they have to start all over again. And invariably, that's how it goes every single time. So we are right there at that finish line. We can see it. We don't want to lose our focus. We don't want to go on to the next shiny object, and that is going to truly be an amazing project that we take on or effort. But we got to stay focused. We got to see it to the very end. Maximize the grant that's available to us, the 2-to-1 grant from the 2-to-1 grant from Gates Foundation. So World Polio Day is October 24th. There's a district-wide party at Paula's house on our end. That party is a time of fellowship as well as a fundraiser for In Polio Now. You guys are doing the donuts. You can double dip, You can sell donuts and go to a party.
We can bring the donuts to the party.
You can bring donuts, but you can auction off the donuts for maybe a lot more. Rotarians think creatively, right? Yep. Yes, we do. And we also have other projects that supplement our efforts with our international service. Youth exchange, we get to know cultures from around the world. Friendship exchange, that was something we did this past year with a group from Turkey. We sent people over there and they came over here. We had a lot of wonderful times in fellowship, and then they had a devastating earthquake. Because of our relationship with them, we did a global grant in collaboration with other districts and other clubs to help them with a mobile kitchen and a mobile education classroom. So when we do these efforts of fellowship, it's to strengthen relationships around the world and to open up opportunities of what we may be able to do in projects. So what Rotary International President Gordon wants us to do is to make this available to everyone. Virtual exchanges. Take some time and intention to find a club in another part of the world that you want to get to know. Leverage our technology of Zoom. Have a couple of fellowships where they're teaching you something that they like to eat and you're teaching them something we like to eat. Be a great project. Learn more about these cultures. Get to know them. You can share this with your Interact clubs. They would love to do it. So these are ways to supplement what we're doing with our projects. And last but not least, to get that home run, we've got to share our stories. We started with daring in our service projects, and then we went on to caring. It was flipped, but that's okay. Caring, daring, and then sharing our stories. So get out there and share those stories. Put them on social media. Let people know who Rotary members are. What do people think about Rotary? What's the brand that comes to mind? I'll leave you with this story. My youngest son, when he was 4 years old, was my little buddy whenever I was president. And that was when they were still impressionable, and he thought it was really cool to hang out with mom and go and make copies, get ready for a strategy meeting and whatnot. So he did that. And when I'm so sorry, I'm way over.
You're fine, you're good.
He did that, and when it was time for the meeting that evening, I saw my assistant governor come in, he was just laughing, and I said, what are you laughing at? He said, Chase is outside collecting money. He's taking money when they come in the door. What do you mean, like he's selling tickets or something? He's collecting money. I'm like, okay, we'll have a conversation about that. So he came in, and later on, I was like, so what was that all about? He said, well, Mom, Rotarians are really generous, and they're nice, and they like to give money. I'm like, okay, but it's not to buy your candy, okay? This is what we do with that. So it's a learning opportunity, but at 4 years old, he had, exactly right. I think that boy can sell ice to an Eskimo. He's literally he's incredible with his sales tactics. He knows when to call me, his 29-year-old mom. And I know what's coming next, the big ass. So, even if a 4-year-old can pick up on certain pieces of what Rotary is, think about when we go out and we are doing things in the community, what do others see about Rotary? And if we want to make that picture clearer, we're going to take another intentional step and share it with them. What we do in Rotary. Share your stories. And share it with heart. When you share a heart story, that's the best story. And each of you have a different heart story. Whatever it is, share that. That brings the energy and makes it come alive. So if you want to celebrate at the end of the year and celebrate all that we've done, we are going to be in Charleston for our district conference.
Oh, yeah.
I like that, yes. And we're going to be at the Francis Marion Hotel in the heart of Charleston. Great venue, and we have a great rate, and we are going to have lots of fun. If you want to take your chance, you can buy a chance for $20 to cover the entire weekend. 2 nights hotel, 2 nights of parking, and all of your meals that are included in the registration fees. So that right there, it's on the DAC TV as well. You can purchase it directly from DAC TV, or you can practice your tech skills and hit that QR code.
Pause.
I'll pause for a second.
All right.
And then if you haven't had enough fun yet, you want to go internationally, I know Jerry will be going internationally. Who knows, you might get a cameo. Yeah. Singapore, yeah.
Singapore.
Yeah, you might get a cameo in the Rotary International, magazine. There you go. That's our group in Australia this year. There are about 25 of us, and this is a sketch of Singapore for next year. Would love to see you there.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. I am open to questions.
You want to share that so I can put it in the newsletter or no?
I downloaded it.
Oh, that's right.
Ah,
Send us out all my information and then some.
Deb, I don't know, I just wanted to say on behalf of the club. No, you're fine. And in support, Marcia had to leave, but we had these bags made up earlier, or late last year, I think it was actually. But in support of our commitment to the environment, just
Yes.
a very small token of our collective appreciation for you being here today.
Thank you.
And we have one for Paula.
Yay!
Thank you so much for being here. Absolutely awesome. This was a great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thank all of you for what you're doing and being a part of this club. And thank you for being here today and laughing at the jokes.
Were there any other questions for
Can we do a group picture?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes. All right. Who's got the know-how on that one? Holly, I'll take the picture. Yep. Let's see, gather around up here, maybe?
Yes,
Let's
I'm gonna move,
face.
I'm gonna
Yep,
move this.
okay.
But I know Eric and Kelly gotta get.
You probably do. It's one.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Sit down right there.
Yeah, great idea. Stand behind. Somebody.
Yeah, we can hold that out front, okay.
Yes. Official flag holder.
Normally I'm not.
Come on in. We can get a couple more chairs. Have a seat, Bob. Still a chair. All right.
We'll take you up on the wall.
For the old man?
I am skating, all right. Hey, I did sign up for tomorrow, didn't I? I did sign up for tomorrow. I don't think you're on the list. I signed up for that thing straight through. I'm doing it again, I'm sorry, I'm doing it again.
One funny one. Do something. Jim
It's,
We're gonna send it to Singapore.
Me and Kevin, Charlie Senior. Daryl.
Disregard.
That's it, I don't know, your name wasn't on the list. I was gonna ask you today. I went through the check with him. I'll look again today. I'll look again today.
Okay, yeah. Like you said, yes, so I'm their chair. I did